Hi, darling.
Hi, we're back.
Yay, because Maths Australia is back. That's why we are back. Ooh. Sorry, forgot their microphones. So as in, that's layout. Sorry.
I'm excited.
Where my camera was. There. For when I do funny things to the camera.
Of course. Very important. That's mine.
Yeah. Well, you know, because we're Instagram stars now.
Oh.
Because we made a reel that has about 800 likes.
How does that happen?
That's viral to us, baby. I might have way more now.
Oh my God.
We haven't looked in ages.
I'm so excited to be back talking about maths.
Too. Oh my God. And as ever, it didn't disappoint.
I think it was the best opening
Intro.
couple of episodes for a while.
Yeah.
We're talking about episodes 1 and 2 on this podcast.
Of Maths Australia season 12.
How many seasons have we done now? Must be about 4.
At least.
Gosh.
Real ones, no. I've been watching too many American podcasts. Real ones, no.
Not sure how I feel about that.
Sorry.
Yes. The first couple of episodes, I think, I'm happy with them because they seem, apart from one extreme difference, to be matching them to hopefully fancy each other.
Sometimes they say, like, we've matched these two because they've got family values and they're both respect kindness. And it's like, that's not enough.
No.
You know that's not enough. You know that's bullshit. This is not the case for this season.
So far, because we've only seen 4 couples.
Yes.
But last season, I feel like it was so obviously them just being like, the only thing is I've got a phobia of birds, and then matching them with someone who has a collection of birds.
Yeah.
It was so obvious matching them with their worst nightmare.
Kind of painfully obvious. It was just like, and well, we're not stupid.
We're not stupid. And it's more interesting. It's more interesting to see dynamics where they actually want to spend time together, because they always go wrong anyway. So you're going to get the drama anyway.
Yeah, it's true. They do always just go wrong.
But there's one exception, which we will come to. But
Oh,
anyway,
God. But I think if we're talking about the same thing, I don't think they were to know.
I disagree.
Okay.
We'll come to that.
So we were first introduced to Lauren.
Yeah.
I guess we should mainly talk about the people who we see at the hen stag.
Yeah, which I was also glad didn't drag on too long.
I mean, usually the UK one, I swear they make it the whole episode.
Yeah.
So it was good that we got weddings in and that as well.
Yeah.
But the people who were kind of like the biggest personalities at the hen do and the stag do's were bucks and hens, were also getting married in that episode, or in the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
so that
because
was
all
helpful.
the notes that I made were about the people who were then
were about the
marriages.
trad wife and
Yes.
the Greek girl who Jamie, who I love. Didn't get along.
When we started to be introduced to Jamie, I was thinking, is this going to be the new Lauren of last season? Because Lauren got a very bad edit. Well, quite not a very bad edit. She was like, oh God, she's the nightmare. Like, very, what's the word? Artificial? No.
Yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Vacuous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that kind of.
I know it's a word that begins with A, but I can't remember what it is. Beep, beep, beep.
Anyway, so last season, Lauren was introduced in that way.
Yes.
But we ended up really loving her.
Yes.
And Jamie was introduced in a similar way. Obviously, I want someone who looks like they've done 20 to life.
David Beckham and 20 to life.
Mixed with someone who's done 20 to life.
Yeah,
that didn't help.
Didn't like the 20 to life.
No, I really didn't like that.
No.
You want someone who
Who's
looks
actually
like
a
they've
murderer?
killed someone.
Yeah. Then you said, or a rapist, and I was like, me love, they wouldn't get 20 years. Yeah. If only we lived in a society that did that. You know. Alas.
I now, after meeting Jamie for the rest of the first two episodes, I like to think that they cut out the bit where she said he looks like he's done 20 to life, but he's a real softie inside.
Yeah.
I like to think that that's what she gave as an addendum, but I don't know, because she obviously likes to make a bit of a scene.
Because she wanted to say, I want a man that looks like he's done 20 to life, but he's actually really lovely.
I like to think she said that and they cut it out.
She did say that about when she actually met him.
She liked the fact that he was soft.
Yes.
And
she said, I like the bad boy look, but is actually a softie. And I was like, thank God there's actually someone who says that.
Yeah.
Because it's always like, I want a bad boy, but I need to steer away from my usual type.
Yeah.
And then they always go for the same one. So it's nice that that's what she likes about him.
Yes.
Hopefully she doesn't suddenly do that thing that they always do, which is, you're just too nice, or you're not, I could see that happening, but hopefully it doesn't. Anyway, yes, Jamie, we like her. They were also trying to like portray her as really annoying with like her being like, Georgia in the scenes, but I was just like, I like her.
Yeah, and they were making the voiceover cut out because she was being so noisy.
Yeah.
But
which
I wasn't buying it.
A bit triggering. You weren't buying it?
No, I wasn't buying it. Who else were they focusing on? So there was a lot of Lauren, the trad wife, in the hens.
Yeah.
And her match, Mr. What's his name? Misogynist. Eliot.
This was immediately reminding me, I can't remember who we've said this about before, but it might have been someone on Love is Blind UK, where we were saying, if these have been your values the entire time that you've been dating, you'd have someone already, because finding a misogynistic man isn't very fucking difficult, because this whole thing is misogyny. And she just had an air sorry, I'm being judgmental. She had an air of someone who went out a lot in her 20s. And then when I personally met her sister, I was like, totes. She totes did. Because this trad wife thing is like quite new, because the right is bigger than ever.
Yeah.
And the desire to like be oppressed is stronger than ever, oppressed by men for some reason. So not than ever, but well, actually, it is the desire to be oppressed by men. It seems to be a thing that people want now, whereas before it just happened.
Oh, for God's sake.
Yeah,
I agree that it doesn't seem like that could have been her values for this long. Otherwise, why is she still single? But also, what transpires is that this fantasy that they both have about having a partner with those kind of traditional values can't actually be a real thing, because they don't want that when they're present. They were both given what they both asked for, and it's already gone tits up.
Well, we already know why. We know why it's gone tits up.
We do,
but we haven't even seen this episode yet. But it's so clear that he said he wouldn't mind a 30-year-old. You want a child that you can mold. You want someone.
Sorry, I thought you meant you want to give birth to a child. No,
you want to be going. He wants to be going out with a young girl, a young woman.
Should we just talk about them?
Yeah, fuck it. Go on then.
We are already talking about them.
Oh, the thing that did my head in. that was the sister seemed really irritating. She was awful.
Oh my God,
that was really bad.
Yeah.
Let's talk about her, sorry.
Okay. There's so much.
I know.
I'm completely grossed out by Lauren's, what she says she wants from a partner.
Yeah.
But I did feel sorry for her when I saw her sister.
Yeah. Those two things can coexist.
Those two things are not mutually exclusive. I hope we've got that right.
I don't know if we've ever explained that we always do this with mutually exclusive on the podcast. We still don't really know what mutually exclusive means until you say it aloud, and we have to both look at each other and be like, they're not mutually exclusive. So if they exist at the same time, they don't exclude each other. Is that what it is?
They can exist at the same time.
They can coexist.
Yeah.
Hate that expression.
I hate it so much. It's so confusing. When Lauren was talking about her values, it's like, okay, and she's like, I'm literally like the wifiest wifey that there could be. Like, I'm the dream wifey. I don't want you to do I don't want you to take the bins out. I don't want you to do any
of those boring
washing.
Jobs.
But then it's like, okay, so you're going to not have a bank account then? Like, this is, you want the 1950s, women didn't have bank accounts. They didn't have anything. Like, are you going to hand over your whole entire life's possessions to a man
she has
that
a
you just
business
met?
as well, which he didn't like about her. He didn't like that she had a business. I was like, well, how the fuck did you expect her to have existed for 37 years famously?
Yeah.
Also, this is I always talk about Matt Bernstein's podcast every single time, but I put it on the YouTube version, and so it came up with a picture, and they were talking about like aspirational tradwifing or whatever, and it was a picture of like looking back at the 1950s. It was like one of those cartoon things, and we were talking about this. It's like, it's literally propaganda. It's not, people didn't exist putting pies in the oven and smiling.
Yeah, these adverts we've seen with ladies in pinnies and with a steaming pie and the children coming around, the dad coming home. That's not real life.
That's not a picture. That's not a photograph.
All of those housewives were on Xanax because they were having mental breakdowns.
Yeah, like because their life was so empty and they were just literally servants.
Yeah, and we're talking about Lauren's side. Obviously, his side is the even more fucked up. Like,
yeah, I think we're saying it. Maybe we're intellectualizing it because we want to get through her thick skull that. It's not aspirational because it's literally it's not because an aspirational thing.
Watch out, there are cunts that are gonna that want to use you in this way.
Yeah, and I think we're saying it because we want to get her out of that mindset.
Whereas with him, it's like, obviously there's men like that, but he's gross. He is gross.
He's absolutely stinking minging.
Oh, so minging. And it just shows, like, if those two can't make it work, this whole idea is an absolute farce. What are you? And he said, oh, she wanted to go out for fancy dinners. Okay, this arrangement that you have where she looks nice and does all the cooking and you go out to work.
She's not even allowed to have one thing.
If this is an arrangement which is like, okay, if you both agree on it, that you pay for everything and she looks good, then you have to buy her things and take her out for dinner.
Yeah, also don't be a tight ass. If she's then. Like, if your whole thing is that you're going to earn loads of money, why are you being tight? That's embarrassing. Like, yeah. If I was
like, if she has completely relinquished all of her independence and possessions, then you better take her out for fancy dinners because
she kind of
this
deserves
is a completely
to not cook her dinner maybe once. And surely that's like a flex that those kind of men want to show. Like, they want to show that they've got wealth.
Yeah,
having a wife do everything for you and never going out for dinner isn't a display of your wealth. I don't know. There's just so many holes and I think part of the reason there's so many holes in both of what both they want is because it's not actually authentic.
Yeah,
I don't think what they want is they don't actually want what they want
in reality. And at the Bucks, is that it? Bucks? Yeah. Is that the man one?
Yeah.
We saw him. What's his name? I can't be bothered to remember his name. He's such a dickhead. But anyway, we saw Mr. Misogynist talking to Eliot, who we hoped might be nice. Tim. Get to Tim later. And Tim was saying, I'm Mr. Nice Guy, and that I always get friend zoned. And Eliot was saying, overcaring is an ick. Overcaring can be a bit of an ick. Like,
yeah.
What if you're going to have basically like someone trapped in your home servicing all of your needs? You obviously have to at least pretend to overcare for them.
That's literally, I've just remembered that's basically verbatim what my ex-girlfriend has implied to me. She was kind of like, you're too nice, like, and I like, as in the overcare. It was like a thing of like, it was a fault that I cared about things.
That's so minging.
So it must just be like it must also be a controlling thing.
Yeah,
because you can gaslight someone into saying you're over caring, which there's no such thing as over caring about someone. That's crazy.
Well, it's like, be specific. Is it like that you're feeling like they're being physically too much, or are you overwhelmed? Like, are they controlling you? Are they smothering you? Those are different things to over caring.
Yeah,
caring is just being kind and wanting
considerate
the best for someone
and just trying to make someone feel comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
The final thing on them is that, I mean, it's just the irony just slaps you around the face when he says, because she goes out for fancy dinners or fucking whatever else, she's superficial.
That's the word. Superficial.
Superficial! Okay, so she's superficial. He called her superficial. In the same
Because
same breath, though, he says that he wants someone under 30. I was like, okay, so why? Let's interrogate that, shall we? Why do you want someone under 30? Because you're superficial.
Oh my God. And he was happy when he saw her, but it was only when he heard the number that was her age.
Absolutely.
That, like, the labelling that it belongs to her. The categorization was something.
The categorization of the age 37. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like, he really fancied her. Whatever. He really liked her. He was bloody beaming when she was talking about, you won't have to do anything in her vows. And he was looking around. But it is, like, I also think there's something about them having spent a night together and him literally just seeing that she is like a human who has body parts and goes to the loo. Like, he spent 24 hours with her and then was like, had gone off her because she isn't a cyborg.
And that is what those expectations of women do to people. Like, and that kind of wanting a servant as a wife does make you really what's the word, objectify someone, like, but like in the truest sense, like literally make them into an object. Like, I don't know, you know, when I sometimes feel like when you objectifying women is really like said so much, like, that I forget that, like, what that actually means. Yeah. And also that's just reminded me of that Army Hammer Louis Theroux thing.
Oh my God.
Where he said that referred to women as bags of skin or something. And like that is also objectifying, but in another, he's got a whole other level of madness. But yeah, I don't know, that's just reminded me of that.
Yeah, making them into vessels and just
holes,
commodities and holes. It is chilling. And I'm like, do you even have any desire, like authentic?
Yes.
Do you even know what you fancy in a person if what you're projecting is so far from what can ever be reality?
And that must be something to do with porn as well, because it's making me think of Justin Baldoni and how he talks about, I think he was speaking about how he had a porn addiction and all of that shit to Blake Lively, and that was one of her criteria to like not bring up on set, like the porn addiction. And it's just interesting, isn't it, that obsession with porn, and like I forget about men and their porn consumption because it's a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
And like that, if you're consuming so much of that all the time and you're just getting off of watching a video and you're not interacting with real life women, but you're observing how other people interact with like kind of dead-eyed women on, then you're not going to have a meaningful connection with someone, because you're seeing, you are objectifying a woman, watching her I don't know, God, this is intense, sorry, get penetrated in a video, and then you're like wanking off to it. Like, you're not, why would you need to seek meaningful connection? Because you've made this deduction that that's what turns you, I don't know, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're desensitized, basically.
Thank you. Yeah, that makes more, that's a simpler way of saying it. No. And it's so crazy that like when you're desensitized to like that kind of graphic content, you're also desensitized to sensitivity itself, like an intimacy, like you kind of don't need it for, I don't know, for connection, or you don't need connection, I don't know, sorry.
No, it's just that men are just suck, don't they?
I really struggle with them.
Apart from the good ones.
Who are they? Any of you listening? Yeah, I struggle.
There's a few women that suck. Case in point, her sister.
Yeah,
but they both got daddy issues, so it's all the men's fault again in the end.
It's always the men's fault in the end.
So therefore, he's got the whole societal structural issue with porn and women in general.
Yeah.
They've
I've just decided he's got a porn addiction.
They've got fucked up. That I can't remember, but their dad something. He wasn't a good dad.
Yeah,
and
she didn't.
You could see from the two sisters the different ways, very opposite ways that they've dealt with that.
Yeah.
And one is like being over sexual and flirting with everyone and being outrageous, being rude and shouting, and then the other one's being all creepy trad wife. But God, that sister was horrible. She was so horrible
She
to
was
her.
awful, and also just awful to the producers. I love that they filmed her being so awful to the producers, because it's just like, I wanted to be like, haha, she's funny. But then I was like, actually, no, she is awful. She's really bad.
She was so bad. Saying, I'm the sister of the bride, refusing a vegetarian meal because it wasn't pescatarian.
Yeah,
You can
don't
eat
be
a
ridiculous.
you can eat a vegetarian meal. I wonder if they did that on purpose, though. That's funny.
That was, yeah, it
They
would
were
be funny if it was true.
desperately trying to keep her there because they knew. I'm like, how did they know this woman was such a
They must
gold
meet.
mine psycho?
They must meet some of the like
Friends and family.
Yeah, because do you remember that guy who was like the best man of Tim last year? And he was
yeah.
he said the horrible things in the speech. And,
Yeah.
oh my God, you remember the drama with Sarah and Tim last year?
Oh my
I hope there's something that
God.
juicy this year, because that was crazy. Okay, so let's move on from them, because I feel depressed.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Carina and Paul? Because I think they they had their wedding that day as well.
Yes.
We didn't see much of Carina at the hen do.
No.
Or much of Paul. They're both from Perth, which
dangerous.
it's dangerous. It's a really dangerous game. I don't think many people on maths from Perth have been matched with another Perth person before, but I am
A Perthan.
not a Perthan. There aren't many Perthans that have been matched with other Perthans on maths. I am not surprised at all that they'd like. There's no, like, if you're single and in Perth, then you obviously would have matched with someone on a dating app. It's so small.
Yeah. You would just go through them all and then run out.
Yeah. And then if you're single, you're going to be doing it for a number of years. Some of you might be dating someone for a little while, and so then you'd pop up, you know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it's really not surprising and quite funny.
Oh, it is. Because we were trying to read their faces when they saw each other. We were excited about this match because they do look that, you know, they're like one of those ones that look made for each other.
Yeah. And we were totally obsessed with her wedding look. She had the veil on top.
Loved it.
Because like
it was camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the long black thick hair. Like we're quite that's not really our vibe usually, like a tight lacy long.
Yeah, like a
you know.
like a traditional wedding dress.
But it was sick. She looked so good.
Yeah, I liked how the hair was down. The veil was just like sitting on rather
It was
than
really cool.
beak.
Yeah.
And it was like a kind of like a statue of the Madonna that you would see in an Italian church.
Yeah, but it kind of also was like a bit it was hot because she had like she had quite a lot of I think she had a bit of makeup on, like in a nice way, and had, I don't know, she just looked fab.
It was great.
Yeah. So she looked fabulous.
She looked fabulous. He's French, so we were excited about her reaction because she said she wanted someone European.
Incredible.
So weird.
French, Perth, and also kind of like Greek.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved.
And then we were trying to read their faces when he turned around, and we were like, ooh, is that? I can't quite tell. But now obviously we know they recognised each other.
Yeah.
They made a split second decision to is that the saying, split second?
Yeah.
To not be like, oh, it's you.
Awkward. Yeah.
Which is so cringy to think of and look back on, that he was just kind of like acted like he'd never seen her before. And then at least he said that she looked really beautiful and stuff. But I think they've turned it around.
I was so like, I mean, he could have handled that a number of ways. And I was a bit like, oh dear, like he's just going to be like, I wasn't in the right place 8 months ago, but now I'm ready to settle down. But you know what? Respect to the man. He went up to her.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Me too. We always regret it, but we'll do it this time.
But deep down, I can't quite decide if I trust him. Like, oh, what a coincidence that you're ready now when it's on the telly.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
when I see them together, the chemistry looks real.
And they managed to brush it aside, and I kind of do believe him in a way that, like, I don't think there's any excuse for ghosting, and I think it's just become so normalized that men just do it. And I do genuinely think they do it without thinking. And I'm not saying that's a good thing. I think they're just thick and they just kind of like don't know how to express their emotions.
But that's what we were saying. We were like, would you actually just let someone, if you were blown away by them, would you just let that person go? And
I do think that men are stupid, and I think that they like don't know how to handle their emotions, and maybe being like, I think it's kind of hard, not for us, please believe me, but I think for some people, especially men, to understand the correlation between like finding a long-term partner and swiping on a phone. Yeah. So like going on a date, I don't know if they're always necessarily looking for like a long-term, they're kind of, like, you know, it's so instant on a phone that you're probably just like looking for a route or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you don't frame it in this way from the off. I guess that is the way in which this show potentially could work, is because it's like it gets rid of you both like trying to work out if you're being casual or not, and you're just
falling
you're like
into
getting married.
Yeah,
and so it's like you can be like, oh, I hope this works, and you're allowed to say things like that.
Well, they're trying to like frame it, aren't they? That's what they were doing. Do you remember at the beginning there was like a montage of like, I'm tired of being on online dating and da. And yeah, you're right. That is a really true thing, because there's all of these scripts and weird kind of structures that we've made for ourselves in dating, especially for straight people, where like you said, you have to kind of like act like you don't care, or ghosting is fine, or, you know, all of those things.
I do feel like if he was like, oh shit, I thought I'd got rid of her, he would have looked more panicked, and he wouldn't have gone and spoken to her family. He went and spoke to her parents. He said all the right things.
Yeah, and
obviously neither of them would struggle to get someone. Yeah, so that's always a bit of a worry.
Perth is small though. There's not a lot. It's hard to find people in I don't know. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is, I think. I think also that maybe, you know how you're saying he's saying all the right things, I do think the action of going over to her parents is an action, in the way that actions speak louder than words, you know, as they say. And I think he like went up to her and spoke to her, and he didn't say anything suspect to the producers as well. Like he sounded like and talking, you know, behind her back, he never said anything sus, which I think is a good sign, because it would be a red flag if he was saying something else and behind her back like Tim, and saying something else to her face.
Yeah, Eliot is going to want to make a play for her when they meet, but I don't think she'd be up for that.
Who knows if he's even going to make it to the thing.
No,
he will. He absolutely will, because they'll want him on there. Like the producers will fucking get him on there.
Oh, but yeah, when Carina and Paul were sitting outside and having a little kiss and a cuddle, and she was like, I've got butterflies, and he was like, so do I thought that seemed quite genuine.
It seemed genuine and romantic, didn't it?
And I'm just happy to see, it's nice to see chemistry on screen.
I agree. Thank you, MAFS Australia, for listening to our podcast specifically and only, and matching people accurately. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's time though. Okay. This is where things change.
This is where we're not so happy with you.
This is where we're not so happy with you,
MAFS
Australia.
Producers.
And I also just want to make a comparison of how, like, when you have these very traditionally good-looking women like Carina, who've had a bit of work done and they're all preened and everything, and they look very Instagrammy. It's like this kind of thing of all their family are like, oh my God, this guy is so lucky. They're just getting this woman on a plate, and they don't even have to date her. They're just getting to marry her. They're so lucky. Whereas Katie has to carry around this narrative of, oh, I'm trapping someone, just because she doesn't look like a traditionally skinny Instagram person. Just because she's a bit bigger, it's suddenly like, oh, the only way I can get someone is to trap them. Like it's approached completely differently. And okay, you think that the producers didn't know. I think they must have known what his type was.
Why do they do it
and
to
I
people?
cannot believe this will ruin her life. She's so fragile.
Yeah.
And they could have found her someone, and for some reason they found someone for whom the rules that don't apply for him that he puts on everyone else. He's allowed to be a little bit bigger. He's allowed to not go to the gym all the time and eat what he wants, and he's terrified of anyone who's taller than his waist and bigger than his little finger. Like, what the hell is wrong with him?
And his whole thing is that I'm a nice guy, and it's like, you've literally just completely demolished that nice guy. Like, people always say that nice guys are bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this whole nice guy thing is actually just like misogyny. Bingo.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally doing it. It was infuriating. He said, I don't have any type. I don't have a specific type. And then I don't date anyone that isn't small, short, blonde, or brunette. Okay, so you don't like a slightly chubby ginger person. Just say it. Or basically what you're describing is a child. Sorry, and you're a primary school teacher, so watch your fucking tone.
What is with this short thing? She was
shorter than him by quite a lot.
It's just wanting to make women small all the time. Like,
I find it creepy as fuck that he's
creepy.
a teacher and that's what he's saying.
He couldn't even bear to be seen, to want to even make eye contact with her in front of anyone else.
I'm also sorry, but she is so I like, not that it's about this, but she is so much smaller than him.
Yeah.
Like, if he's interested in that, I'm like, she is smaller than you, mate.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what more she's shorter and she's smaller.
Yeah.
What more do you want?
It's completely...
She's also really pretty.
Yeah. I'm
And
so
fun.
upset.
But also the producers did her fucking dirty. In the next day when she'd had the conversation with him, they should not have filmed her because she was a fucking mess and she looked awful.
She did.
And that
She
was
looked
terrible because she
stunning.
looked insane. But she's not insane. She's just so heartbroken because her worst fear happened.
Have just been, affirmed and repeated back to her.
And the exact story that she told herself when she was like crying in the fucking dressing room when she was trying on her dress happened on international television.
It's just so infuriating because when we were watching her, we were like, what? Like, she's just got so many insecurities. She just needs to let them go. He looks lovely. It's going to be fine. And they confirmed this for her, this I want to say irrational, but obviously she has reasons and she's probably just been treated like shit. And like, I was saying, like, you just need to move to a northern town in the UK.
Yes.
Because I feel like, I don't
She'd
know,
clean up.
living in Australia where it's very naked beach culture, as a ginger, chubby person, it must be harder. But like, you're a normal you're a normal woman. You're just normal, and she thinks she's monstrous. And then they gave her a man that is telling her she's monstrous, and it is absolutely outrageous.
It's also awful that I don't think someone whose triggers, she literally said, my trigger is rejection. I don't know if that person should be on the telly.
Yeah.
Because the aftermath of that, where I said she looked insane the next day when she found out that he wasn't into her.
Yeah.
Like, it's clearly incredibly raw. And I don't think the chance that she could... that could happen to her, which has happened to her, shouldn't have been allowed to play out, because I think it's going to fuck her up.
Yeah, they should have taken that more seriously. Like, just because she doesn't say that she's got like a mental illness or something, if she's saying that she's triggered by things and they're literally triggering her on purpose, that shouldn't be taken lightly. And you saw when she confronted him on the evening of the wedding,
lied.
And he lied, but kind of, it was very obvious that he was like, yes, a lot. Like, he didn't say like, no, I like you. He was like, yeah, it was just a lot. And she took that as like, oh, I've been kidding myself. Like, I've been reading everything wrong. And
I think she knew deep down as well, but she just like,
she definitely did.
She had to take him at his word.
Yeah, but it just shows her self-esteem is so low that she's willing to take shit. And
literally take him saying it's full on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe she had to go through, like, these weddings are so awkward already because they're so silent, because they're not allowed to have any music or noise. And everyone was watching when they cut the cake, and she just asked for a kiss on the cheek.
He could have just kissed her on the fucking cheek.
Your old random old people that you meet at parties on the cheek. You kiss
Your wife.
stinky old men on the cheek. You can kiss your wife on the cheek. You can kiss a lovely
Fuck him.
woman on the cheek.
I'm glad he looks awful, but I'm really disappointed that they made her look crazy.
Yeah.
And they allowed her to be in a situation where she was that vulnerable, because she's doing good in the community. She's a good person.
She is. She's got a great job. She's a lovely, thoughtful person. Just shame on you.
Shame.
I just didn't need to see a vulnerable person getting dragged down like this.
It was cruel.
I'm not happy about it.
And I am sure they'll probably drag her through the experiment, and it will just be the same thing. It will be like Casper and Emma.
100%.
It's the Casper and
You
Emma
see
thing.
it weeks and weeks and weeks of
It's
it.
going to go on for weeks. He's never going to kiss her.
He did. He held my hand.
And I thought it was amazing.
But then I asked to have a conversation the next night, and he went into his room. I don't want to see this. Just please.
It's so
Bring
bad.
someone else in. Shoot him out of a cannon into a ball pool and bring someone nice in.
Yeah, I agree. I want to see that.
Please.
So the final couple.
Yes.
Who we love.
We love
I'm
them.
nervous that it could go wrong, but for now I'm going to enjoy it.
Favourite couple.
Jamie and Dave.
Love them.
Absolutely love them. We've spoken about them a little bit at the start because
Yes.
we were talking about Jamie.
Love
Dave?
their mums. Love both their mums.
Yep, both their mums are hot.
Jamie's mum's hot.
No, it's Dave's mum's hot.
Was it?
Yeah,
With the glasses.
that's Dave's mum.
Oh yeah, because Jamie's mum looks like her, doesn't
Looks
she?
exactly
She's blonde.
like her.
Grey, the other one's grey.
Yeah.
Love them both. They look quite
Yeah.
similar to each other.
Yeah.
They
And
were cute.
It was cute that they were like, oh God, they're a really good match, aren't they? Yeah. They were getting on so well. It was really cute. And it was like they knew each other. Something I loved is that when they were at the altar,
Yeah.
he was really taking her in properly and saying, you've got really beautiful eyes. And I could see that it meant a lot. And he was like, oh, I like your fluoro toenails. Like, that's such a cute thing to notice. And she was like, and that's like actually her personality is that she was
Yeah.
saying like, oh, usually I'm fluoro, but I've got these ones because they're wifey nails. And like, she's a bit of bogan.
Yeah.
But he likes her
mean, they're
he
both-
really likes her quirkiness. And we were saying like her hair was slicked back, and she was talking about how she's got quite a big nose. And, you know, I love that she just like showed herself for who she is, and she looked
Lovely
great.
Lady Gaga /
Barbara
Babs,
Streisand,
Barbara
yeah.
Streisand profile that she's
Yeah.
got. Big fan.
Yeah.
And yeah,
What did you call her nose?
profile.
No, I was
Say
joking. She
profile.
said big fan. So.
Yeah, I really like them, and I don't know where they found him, but I genuinely believe way more than any of the other men that we've
Yeah.
seen that he is there for the right reasons and that he is authentic. We're probably week 2 we're going to be like, fuck me,
We
he's
were
the
wrong.
worst. But the way that he cried in his speech and spoke about his dad, and I just don't think he would bother being that vulnerable if he was just like, oh, I'll do
If
this to be on the
didn't mean
telly.
anything to him.
Yeah, he obviously felt
Yeah.
like this is a real thing. I need to acknowledge my family and what's going on.
They're both taking it very seriously, but in a light-hearted way. Do you think that's...
Yeah.
They understand the gravity of the situation, but they are going into it with an open...
Yeah, I think
minds.
with her, it might have been more of a like, this will be fun, but if I meet someone, then that's really great, and then
Yeah.
she's completely open to the romance of it.
And I think she sometimes, when you have someone who's like outgoing on these shows, there's more of a side that they show and they edit it to make them seem more annoying. But the more the episode went on, she was edited just like normally, and he really liked, apart from when she was like asking all the questions, but they couldn't even make her look bad in that moment. We were like, this is
they were
edited
trying
to try
to-
and make her look annoying, but she doesn't even look annoying.
Yeah, they were trying to make him look like he was getting pissed off, but
Yeah.
he wasn't. They were good, really good match at the moment.
Yeah.
And again, sorry to go back to Katie and Tim, but it was just it was just like, it was so cute to see Jamie and Dave's families all getting on and having such a nice time together, and Katie's parents were so sweet and lovely, and I'm just like, oh, so nobody deserves to see their child be happy or have a nice time or see their child be valued just because she's a bit bigger. Like,
Yeah, and
everybody in that experience was robbed of a good time.
He was also giving me like, I don't know, I found it really creepy because it was almost like he was, I'm sorry, I'm using really big words that are like maybe too heavy, but it was like he was grooming her family. He was like going around and talking individually to the family and being like really nice to them, and then not kissing her in front of everyone, as if to be like, yeah, but I was really nice to you, so like what's the problem with me? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
tricking everyone and being manipulative. And why didn't he have family there? I think he only had like 3 people. That says something weird. What does that mean?
Interesting.
Why was it not brought up? What's going on? And I don't like you.
Yeah, stark contrast.
Yeah.
To Jamie and Dave. They are adorable. I liked it when he was like, "What about kids?" Like, just brought up the kids conversation, and then she was like, "Yeah, 2 girls, 1 boy," or something. He was like, "I could do that with you."
Yeah, that was
really cute.
really good answer.
It was really cute.
Yep, I could be on board with that. Love. Good. A nice normal couple. I mean, it's not normal at all. It's absolutely insane. This whole thing is insane. I forget sometimes because we're so used to watching this show. I'm like, they're getting married at first sight.
It is. Oh God, I love it.
Welcome back.
Oh God, it's good to be back.
Watching this first episode again has made me be like, we're not doing Maths UK this year.
Oh God,
every year.
It's just a different show entirely, isn't it?
Leaps and bounds ahead.
It is. It was a euphoric experience watching that first episode. I'm so happy to be back in the wave of drama.
Oh, I'm liking all of your metaphors.
Thanks.
Very nice.
So we'll be back after we've watched a few more weddings.
Yeah, can't wait. And seen a couple of honeymoon moments. Ooh, yeah.
Whitsundays.
The Whitsundays.
Your mum's been there.
She has. She went with her girlfriend.
She loved it.
She did, but
Except
you can't go in the water because you'll get stung by a jellyfish that'll kill you.
You have to wear a big suit because of all the stingy things. I don't know about that. Sounds weird to me.
When I got stung by a jellyfish in Australia.
Ooh, it really gave you a big...
I got stung twice, didn't I? I had 2. I had like a circle on my arm and then something on my back, and it really hurt.
There's things out there that want to get you.
Yeah, they always want to get me. Yeah. I was just thinking about the shark in the shark net in Perth.
I was just thinking about the kangaroo in that video. It was like this. I'm trying to drown a dog.
Trying to drown a dog in a video. We were like, what the... That man was like, get off my dog. You've been there now.
Oh, loved it.
Yeah.
Didn't I say when we were watching Jamie and Dave, I was like, they feel like real Australian people that I saw and experienced out there now that I've been out there, you know? But I've done research and I'm even more prepared for us to do our podcast.
You know what it's like. You know Australian culture.
I know what it's like. I'm concerned but excited for the Perthians because I'm like, it could go so well for you. You're both in the same place, but also what a nightmare. You're going to have I was going to say you're going to have the same exes, but that's only lesbians. Well, you never know. They might be queer.
Yeah, you can't have the same exes if you're straight. That's funny.
Oops. Oopsie. I forgot about that. Well, we'll be back then, won't we?
Yep.
See you in a couple of days.
See ya. Love ya.
See ya. Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.